Before the first human voice echoed in the valleys of Eden, was the earth truly silent? Before the story of Adam, does a lost chapter of our planet's history lie buried and forgotten? For millennia, sacred texts and whispered myths have spoken of other beings, other civilizations that rose and fell in a forgotten epoch. From the fiery Jinn of Arabian lore to civilizations that vanished beneath the waves, these tales hint at a world that was already ancient when humanity took its first breath. Are these mere fables, or are they the fragmented memories of a truth too profound to comprehend? Science is now confronting enigmas buried in the deepest layers of rock and time, artifacts that defy explanation, structures that predate their supposed builders, and geological whispers of a world before our own. We embark on a journey to uncover the clues, to ask the forbidden question: who was here before us? Before the first man drew breath, was the world an empty stage, a silent theater awaiting its star performer? Universal creation stories, from the Garden of Eden to the Australian Dreamtime, place humanity at the dawn of consciousness. Yet, threaded through these very same sacred texts and ancient oral traditions are unsettling whispers of something more, of a time before our time. These are the echoes of forgotten creations. The Zohar, a foundational work of Jewish mysticism, speaks of successive worlds created and destroyed by the divine before our own was deemed satisfactory. Similarly, the traditions of the Hopi people in North America describe a series of worlds, each populated by different beings, and each ending in cataclysm. These are not mere fanciful tales, but a persistent theme suggesting our civilization is not the first. They speak of beings who walked an earth younger and more volatile, whose societies rose to great heights and fell into ruin long before the first human appeared. Were they spirits, beings of flesh, or something far stranger? This profound question challenges our cherished place at the center of the story, suggesting we are not the opening act, but perhaps just the latest chapter in a drama of cosmic proportions. What were these worlds, and what became of their mysterious inhabitants? From the vast deserts of ancient Arabia comes a detailed account of a world teeming with life long before the arrival of Adam. It was the world of the Jinn. According to Islamic tradition, these formidable beings were forged not from clay like humanity, but from a smokeless fire, a form of pure primal energy that granted them abilities beyond our comprehension. Possessing free will, vast intellect, and immense power, they were the planet's first sentient rulers. They built magnificent cities that shimmered in the primordial sun, mastered forgotten sciences, and established powerful kingdoms that spanned continents. For uncounted millennia, they were the dominant intelligence on Earth, their culture rich and their technology profound. But their great power bred an even greater arrogance. Their free will, a divine gift, became a curse as it led to jealousy, corruption, and open rebellion. Envy and strife turned their glorious societies against one another, sparking devastating wars that scorched the face of the planet. Their civilization, once brilliant, collapsed into chaos. It was this great corruption that necessitated a divine cleansing of the world, preparing it for a new steward, mankind. The Jinn were not destroyed, merely displaced, rendered a parallel society hidden from human eyes. Their story is a chilling prelude to our own, a warning that the world we inherited was once theirs. Genesis chapter 6. There were giants in the earth in those days. This single cryptic line has ignited the imagination for centuries. It speaks of the Nephilim, formidable beings born of a mysterious union, who were the mighty men which were of old, men of renown. But this is not an isolated story. Across the world, from the powerful titans of Greek mythology who warred with the gods, to the Fomorians of Ireland and the Quinametsin of Aztec lore, cultures independently describe an age when giants walked the earth. Are these merely fables created to explain impressive natural formations, or are they a fragmented genetic memory of a genuine historical epoch? Proponents of this startling theory point to the world's megalithic wonders as their prime evidence. The colossal foundation stones of Baalbek in Lebanon, some weighing over 800 tons, or the impossibly precise interlocking masonry of Sacsayhuaman in Peru. Could these be the work of a race far larger and stronger than modern humans? A race whose sheer physical power allowed them to shape the very bones of the earth with an ease we can barely comprehend today. The legends portray them as kings, warriors, and master builders, a dominant civilization that predated or coexisted with early humanity before a great conflict or cataclysm. If they truly existed, where did they go? Did they fall in a forgotten war, perish in a global deluge, or simply fade away, leaving only giant stones and even larger legends as their enduring legacy? Myths and legends are one thing, but what if there were physical proof of a forgotten age? These are the so-called OOPArts, out-of-place artifacts. These enigmatic relics, found in geological strata where they should not exist, present a profound challenge to our understanding of the past. Consider the Klerksdorp spheres from South Africa. These are small metallic spheroids, some with fine grooves encircling their equator, discovered within a mineral deposit, dated to an astonishing 2.8 billion years old. Then there is the controversial Koso artifact, an object resembling a 1920s-era spark plug found encased within a 500,000-year-old geode. While many such objects have been convincingly debunked as misidentified natural formations or outright hoaxes, a stubborn few resist simple explanation. They hint at the tantalizing possibility of a forgotten technological prowess. Could these be the last remnants of a pre-human industrial society? Perhaps the tools, ornaments, or discarded components of a civilization that understood metallurgy, mechanics, and maybe even forms of energy generation, long before the dawn of recorded history. Mainstream archaeology often dismisses these anomalies as curiosities, but they persist, forcing us to ask a difficult question. Does the story of technology truly begin with flint and bone, or are these artifacts the ghosts of a lost science, echoes of a world that mastered complexity only to vanish into the abyss of time? If a technologically advanced civilization existed millions of years ago, what would be the evidence? Buildings would crumble and metals would corrode, but the planet itself might hold a permanent scar. This is the core of the Silurian Hypothesis, a fascinating thought experiment that reframes our search for predecessors. Instead of looking for artifacts, it proposes we search for industrial ghosts in the geological record. Scientists Adam Frank and Gavin Schmidt theorize that any industrial civilization, even a pre-human one, would leave behind unmistakable planetary signatures. The mass burning of fossil fuels, for example, would create a specific spike in carbon isotopes within sediment layers, a fingerprint identical to the one our own Anthropocene era is creating. The invention and widespread use of synthetic fertilizers would alter nitrogen cycles, leaving a chemical trace in ancient soil. A reliance on plastics would result in a permanent, unnatural layer of plastoglomerate rock for future geologists to discover. So, the search shifts from ruins to rock cores and deep-sea sediment. Are there unexplained anomalies in the deep past? A sudden, ancient global warming event? A strange chemical layer that defies natural explanation? An extinction that doesn't align with a meteor impact or volcanism? Viewing Earth this way transforms it into a history book spanning eons. The story of what came before Adam may not be written on stone tablets, but within the very stone of the planet itself, a silent chemical testament to a world that industrialized and perhaps perished long before us. The official story of our past is written in stone, in layers of sediment stacked neatly through geological time. But what if some pages tell a different story? In the bed of the Paluxy River in Texas, a controversy was etched into limestone. Alongside the unmistakable three-toed tracks of dinosaurs, other prints were found, prints that appeared eerily human. Dated to the Cretaceous period over 100 million years ago, their existence is an impossibility. According to our established timeline, scientists have debated them for decades, some dismissing them as clever forgeries or misidentified dinosaur tracks, others as natural erosions. Yet the questions persist. Are these the footprints of time travelers, or something far more profound? Could they be the last trace of a people who walked the earth alongside giants, their civilization erased by the same cataclysm that ended the age of reptiles? These anomalous imprints, found not just in Texas but in other forbidden strata around the globe, are silent witnesses. They challenge the very foundation of our origins, suggesting that the narrative of humanity's dawn may have a prologue we have yet to decipher. They force us to ask, before our story began, did another one end, leaving behind nothing but footprints in forbidden stone, a ghostly echo from a world we were never meant to know? It is a geological heresy, a whisper from deep time that refuses to be silenced by dogma or scientific consensus. High in the Bolivian Andes, at an altitude where the air is thin and life is harsh, lie the ruins of Puma Punku. It is a site that defies conventional explanation. Scattered across the Altiplano are massive blocks of andesite and diorite, some weighing over 100 tons, quarried from miles away. But it is not their size that baffles engineers and archaeologists. It is their unfathomable precision. The stones are fashioned with perfectly flat faces, right angles, and complex interlocking shapes, assembled like a colossal puzzle. Most astonishing are the H-blocks, identical in dimension, featuring intricate interior cuts and smooth, drilled holes. The craftsmanship suggests the use of advanced machining tools, yet mainstream archaeology dates the site to a pre-industrial culture with no known access to such technology. How did these silent architects achieve a level of precision that would challenge modern workshops, using only primitive tools of stone and copper? There are no written records, no blueprints left behind. The site stands as a testament to an impossible feat of engineering, a silent challenge to our assumptions about the capabilities of the ancient world. It's as if a civilization with a completely different technological paradigm briefly appeared, sculpted stone with godlike skill, and then vanished, leaving us with a quarry of questions that our current historical model simply cannot answer. Puma Punku is not just a ruin, it is a monument to a lost science. Across continents and cultures separated by oceans and millennia, a common story is told. It is a memory of water, of a great flood sent to cleanse the world. In Mesopotamia, Utnapishtim builds an ark to survive the deluge. In India, Manu is warned of the coming waters by a fish. In the Bible, Noah gathers the animals onto his vessel. Over 500 such myths exist worldwide, a chorus of voices speaking of a global cataclysm that wiped the slate clean. For centuries, these tales were dismissed as mere legend. But what if they are a fragmented collective memory of a real event? Modern science offers tantalizing clues. At the end of the last ice age, around 12,000 years ago, the planet underwent a period of violent and rapid climate change. The Younger Dryas impact hypothesis suggests one or more cometary fragments struck the North American ice sheet, triggering unimaginable megafloods, a sudden deep freeze, and mass extinctions. Could such an event have been the planetary reset button that erased a sophisticated global civilization? It would explain the sudden disappearance of a people and the survival of only scattered, traumatized remnants whose descendants would pass down the story as a cautionary myth. The Great Forgetting would have been absolute, burying cities under miles of ice or hundreds of feet of water and sediment, leaving the few survivors to begin again from scratch, their advanced knowledge lost to the raging waters of a world reborn in chaos. What if the search for a lost civilization is looking in the wrong place? Instead of digging for ruins, perhaps we should be drilling for chemical ghosts. This is the core question of the Silurian Hypothesis, a thought experiment proposed by astrophysicist Adam Frank and NASA's Gavin Schmidt. Named after an ancient reptilian race from the show Doctor Who, the hypothesis asks a serious scientific question. If an industrial civilization existed millions of years ago, what detectable traces would it leave in the geological record? The answer is surprisingly subtle. After 60 million years, almost no physical structure would remain. Cities would turn to dust. Fossils would be incredibly rare. The real evidence, the techno-signature, would be chemical. A civilization that burns fossil fuels would leave a massive spike of carbon in sediment layers, a distinct isotopic signature different from natural events. The invention of fertilizers would alter the nitrogen cycle on a global scale. The creation of synthetic plastics and persistent pollutants would leave behind molecular fossils that nature could never produce. The search for them becomes a search for geological anomalies, a sudden warming event in the Paleocene-Eocene thermal maximum, strange isotopic ratios in a specific rock strata, or a layer of unusual spherical microparticles. The Silurian Hypothesis transforms the quest from an archaeological dig into a forensic investigation of the planet itself, hunting for the faint, chemical shadow of a predecessor who may have industrialized, polluted, and vanished long before our own time. After sifting through forbidden footprints, impossible architecture, and the echoes of a world-ending cataclysm, we are left with a profound and unsettling question. What is their legacy? If a technologically advanced civilization, the first ones, truly rose and fell in the deep past, did they vanish without a trace? Or is their influence still with us, hidden in plain sight? Perhaps their legacy is not carved in stone, but encoded in our oldest myths and spiritual traditions? Are the stories of gods descending from the heavens, gifting knowledge of agriculture, astronomy, and law, a distorted memory of contact with the survivors of this lost world? Maybe the global prevalence of pyramids and megalithic structures is not a coincidence, but a faint architectural echo, a common blueprint inherited from a single mother culture. The most intimate possibility is that the legacy is within us. Could humanity itself be the legacy? The descendants of a shattered civilization, slowly rebuilding and rediscovering a potential that was once fully realized? Our own rapid technological ascent in the last few centuries might not be a beginning, but a remembering, a reawakening of a dormant capability. The search for a pre-Adamic civilization is ultimately a search for ourselves, for a grander context to our existence. It suggests we are not the first act in Earth's intelligent drama, but perhaps the second, living on a stage haunted by the ghosts of those who came before. The story is not over. We may just be repeating it.